You are welcome. You are welcome to the Messiah Revelation channel, End Time channel, preparing you for the arrival of the Messiah, preparing the world for judgment. Our message is dedicated to people and places. People and places. That's the message today. People and places to remember. As we are talking about the end times, are there people that you should remember? Are there places that you should remember? Which people should you remember as we're talking about end times? Which events do you recall? Which events should you remember as we are talking about the end times? So we are going to look at the people and places to remember as we think about the end times, what will happen in the end times. Judgment will happen in the end times. Some people will be saved, and when they are saved, they will be saved for life. They will be saved eternally. And some people will be condemned, and they will be condemned eternally. So we have eternal judgment. It will mean salvation to people. It will mean condemnation to other people. The prophet Daniel talked about it, that people will sleep. He's talking about death. But there will be a time where there will be resurrection. And the prophet Daniel said, some people will wake up and they will inherit everlasting life. But some people will wake up, they will be resurrected, and they will go into eternal perdition. And the Antichrist will go into eternal perdition. And so as we are preparing for the end times, we need to remember some people, we need to remember some places. And that's the basis of our message today. And so the first person to remember is written in the Bible. The Messiah was talking to the disciples, and he was talking to the multitude. And he mentioned a name to remember when we are expecting the judgment of God. Remember Lot's wife. Remember Lot's wife. So the Messiah did not say remember Lot. He said remember Lot's wife. And so why is Lot's wife mentioned in the Bible? Why did the Messiah tell us to remember Lot's wife? It's very, very important because Lot's wife gives us a glimpse of what will happen in the final judgment that is coming to the world. That judgment is coming very soon. The final trumpet of heaven has sounded, and the Messiah wrote, he spoke, he warned, remember Lot's wife. We are not going to go into details because you know what happened with Lot's wife. You know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And what do we remember about Lot's wife? And the first thing we recall is that Lot's wife was wicked, was a wicked woman. Lot's wife was a wicked woman, and you have to remember that she was wicked. That woman was very, very wicked. The woman was wicked. Lot's wife was wicked, a wicked woman. And so the Messiah is saying, remember Lot's wife. And when I say Lot's wife was wicked, the question you will ask is, why was she wicked? And it's very simple. She was wicked because her behavior, her lifestyle made her part of the crowd of the wicked. So she was counted as a wicked person. It's very deep. You'll be so nice, you'll be so kind, but there'll be a time that will be counted among the wicked. Because you take the road of the wicked, and so you'll be counted as a wicked person. You'll be among the wicked. You have company with the wicked. There's no link between darkness and light. And so if you are a person of light, there's no reason for you to be among people who are in darkness. Lot's wife was counted among the wicked. She was counted among the homosexuals in Sodom and Gomorrah. She was counted among the LGBT community in Sodom and Gomorrah. She did not take instruction from the angels of the Lord. She did not care about her own salvation. And because of that, she, out of all the people, was left in Sodom, and she perished by fire. Because as she was counted among the wicked, the law of the wicked had to apply to her. And what is the law of the wicked? The law of the wicked is stated in Psalms 9:17. Let's read Psalms 9:17. The wicked shall be turned into hell. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. That's the law of the wicked. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God will also go into hell. And so that law had to apply to Lot's wife. Immediately, she was counted among the wicked. The law of the wicked had to apply to her. And she was turned into hell. Hell alive. Hell as she was walking, as she was sitting down, as she was looking at the gates of Sodom and Gomorrah, as she was enmeshed and intermingled with the material culture, the Sodomite culture in Sodom and Gomorrah. She then was a wicked person. And so you can be a saint of God, but you will be counted among the wicked because you prefer to be in the company of the wicked. You did not take instructions. And so the Messiah said, remember Lot's wife. Lot's wife was a procrastinator. She wanted to leave, but she was thinking about it. She saw her husband and the children leaving the city as the angel told them to leave. But she was procrastinating. I'll repent tomorrow. I'll repent when I get a new job. I'll repent when I become rich. I'll repent when I move into my new house. I repent when I have enjoyed life, when I've enjoyed the men that I want, the women that I want, the lifestyle that my friend is engaged in. When I get to that level, then I will think about repenting. I will procrastinate. But procrastination will lead people into hell. Lot's wife, remember Lot's wife, she was a procrastinator. But she didn't know that judgment was coming that hour, that night, that minute. The time when she was procrastinating, she was not aware that judgment was coming that day. Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, the time that he was having a party, drinking and whining, he didn't know that Babylon was going to be invaded at that moment, at that time. Remember Lot's wife. Remember Lot's wife. She was counted among the wicked, even though she was not wicked. And she was destroyed along with the Sodomite cities as recorded in Genesis. What about Lot? What do you remember about Lot? You remember that Lot was a righteous person. He lived in Sodom, but Sodom did not live in him. His neighbors were homosexuals, but Lot followed the commandments of God. And he pitied his neighbors, because when the homosexuals in Sodom wanted to rape angels of God, Lot said, I would rather give my daughters to you to rape. They are virgins. Don't do that. At least if you have a relationship with a woman, you are a man, that sounds a little bit acceptable. But you are a man and you are doing what is forbidden of God, then you are being wicked. So Lot was telling his neighbors, I don't want you to be wicked. You are wicked, but don't be more wicked. I'll give my daughters to you. And angels of the Lord, of course, did not agree. But Lot, you need to remember Lot. Lot lived in Sodom, but Sodom did not live in Lot. So you'll be living in a country that is a Sodomite nation, as America is, but you'll be okay. You'll be okay, because the Sodom will not live in you. But it requires vigilance so that you will not be contaminated. And it's very difficult not to be contaminated when the company that you join with, they are wicked. You live in Sodom, and Sodom should not live in you. And it takes caution and prayers and dedication so that Sodom will not live in you, even though you live in Sodom. And that's why the angel told the people in Babylon, come out of her, my people. It's a divine command, come out of her, my people, so that you do not partake of the sins of Babylon, of Sodom. And the plagues are coming so that you will not be part of the plagues that is coming. The judgment that is coming, the judgment coming to America, the country whose president said, we will support transgenderism because it is part of our culture, it's part of American culture. You live in Sodom, but Sodom should not live in you. And most importantly, you remember Revelation 18, verse 4, come out of her, my people. Remember Lot's wife. And so as we are talking about the people and the events to remember for the end time, we know the Lord told us, remember Lot's wife. And then the other people you should remember are two young men. Remember Joshua and Caleb. Joshua and Caleb. Remember them. Who are Joshua and Caleb? They were only two people, the two adults, who were allowed to enter the promised land. And the Israelites were in captivity in Egypt. The Lord had mercy on them. The Lord had mercy on them and delivered them from captivity in Egypt. But they were disobedient. They became disobedient. And so the Lord did not allow them to enter the promised land, Canaan. All adults above a certain age were not allowed to enter the promised land. Out of the millions, only two people, Joshua and Caleb, were allowed to see the promised land. And so you can make all the noise every day. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I am a chosen of God. My ancestors were Hebrews, so I'm a Hebrew. And people will even make distinctions. Yeah, I'm the real Hebrew. I'm the real Hebrew Israelite. My ancestors came on slave ships. I'm of the tribe of Judah. They even make preferences. Remember Joshua and Caleb. They were Hebrew Israelites. And they were the only people who were allowed to see the promised land. Remember even Moses. Remember what he did in Kadesh. He became angry and he disobeyed the instructions of Elohim in striking the rock for water in Kadesh. And what happened? The Lord said, I will show you Canaan, but your foot will not be there. You will not set foot into the promised land. And that is Moses, the one that the Lord was speaking to on Mount Sinai. Moses did not enter the promised land because of disobedience, because of sin. Remember Kadesh. Remember what happened there. Remember Moses. He was not allowed to enter the promised land. As we are preparing for the end times, these are the people and the places that you should remember. All these things show you that there will be a purge. The Lord will purge his people. The Israelites will pass under the rod of the shepherd, and there will be a purge. There will be a winnowing fork. The winnowing fork will be used, and it will be used to separate the wheat from the chaff, the sheep from the goat. the warm from the lukewarm, and the dark from darkness, the sweet from the bitter. And so there will be a purge. Remember, and even remember the parables in the Bible. Remember the parables in the Bible? The gospel about the narrow road and the wide road. Matthew 7, verse 13 and 14. The Lord wants us to remember that there is a limit to the number of people who will be in the presence of the Lord. And that's why in Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 to 14, the Messiah talks about the narrow road that leads to salvation. Only few people will find it. The narrow road. But the wide road that leads to destruction, many people will be on the wide road, and they will enter the gates of hell. Are you on the wide road or on the narrow road? The narrow road has a lot of temptations, has a lot of hindrances. And Satan, the prince of this world, has blinded so many people, including pastors and churches, so that they will not find the narrow road. It's very convenient to be on the wide road because that is the culture. The culture that we see in the world is a culture of materialism. It's a deceptive culture. You blend in. You blend in. You accept it. You adopt it. And so the gay culture that led to the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah has blended its way into the holy city in Jerusalem, has blended its way into mega churches. The gay culture of Sodom and Gomorrah has blended, has found a place in the hearts of bishops of the gospel. They are not only supporting the Sodom culture, they themselves are sodomizing, and they are sodomites. They are sodomizing, they are also sodomites. They are not remembering Lot and Lot's wife. They've forgotten what happened to the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And so Apostle Peter wrote in his letters, Sodom and Gomorrah were set as an example for future generation who will disobey God. Joe Biden is very bold. He says that America will encourage transgenderism, will go beyond Sodom and Gomorrah. In Sodom, men were having relationship with men, women were having relationship with women. But in America, we will transgender. And when we transgender, we ask our children also to transgender. It is not only the adults who will transgender, the children will transgender. And people will vote for transgenderism. Transgenderism is on the ballot 2024, 2028, 2032. We will not remember any Lot. There was no Lot. The story in Sodom about Sodom and Gomorrah is a lie, and it should be cancelled. There's nothing like mother, father. There's nothing like man, woman. There's no God. God is dead. There's no God. God is dead. Human beings are God. And that is the philosophers of the new age. And they are in control of government. They are in control of the intellectual world. And they are making decisions. And they are the agents of Lucifer who are masquerading as presidents and politicians and bishops and popes. Remember Lot's wife. And if you're a Christian and if you are a Hebrew Israelite, whatever you call yourself, remember Joshua and Caleb. The kingdom of heaven is not about quantity, it's about quality. It's not about numbers. And that's why only two people, Joshua and Caleb, out of the millions of people who left Egypt, the men, the adults, out of all of them, among the adults, only Joshua and Caleb were allowed to enter the promised land. The rest of them were destroyed. In the days of Noah, you remember the same thing. Only few out of the many were able to enter the ark of salvation. The Messiah is coming, and is coming for a remnant. Is coming for his elect. He's not coming for everybody. He's coming for people who are waiting on him. And it's written clearly in Hebrews 9:28. It's appointed unto the Messiah to come the second time for those who are waiting on him. There are so many people who are waiting, and they are waiting to be accepted into secret societies. They are waiting to have millions of dollars in their bank accounts. They are waiting to be married. They are waiting to have their next job. They are waiting to travel. They are waiting to vote in elections that are coming. They are not waiting on the Lord. And the Messiah says he will come the second time for those who are waiting on him. The remnant. The remnant. Remember the 10 virgins. 5 were wise, 5 were fools. And you know the story of the virgins, the 10 virgins. They were all good people, but 5 were not alert. They were slothful. They were not vigilant. And so they could not meet. They could not meet their bridegroom on that fateful day. Remember the 10 virgins, the wise and the foolish, so that you know how to prepare for the end times when the Messiah is coming to judge the world. Remember key people and key places. Remember Lot's wife. Remember Joshua and Caleb. Remember what happened to them. Remember what happened to the wicked cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And remember what is written in Psalm 9 verse 17. The wicked will be turned into hell, and the nation that forgets God will be turned into hell. Was there a hell? Yes, there was hell in Sodom and Gomorrah. And the lake of fire will be worse than the hell that came to the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. Prepare and remember Lot's wife. Remember Joshua and Caleb. Thank you for watching this video. My email raptureafrica@yahoo.com. Thank you.